From Shanghai to New York, from Vientiane to Kuala Lumpur, coffee brewers are facing a shake-up. This as Chinese chains low on price go big on home turf and abroad. In this episode of CNA Correspondent, we take the front row seats to this bruising fight to be undisputed caffeine champion. This is Starbucks Reserve Roastery, Shanghai. It's not just a coffee shop, it's a huge immersive space. It's part cafe, part factory, part theatre. Beans roasted on site, brewed in every way imaginable. The menu includes gourmet food, specialty cocktails, and other items you won't see at a regular Starbucks. There are only 6 such outlets in the world. When it was opened in 2017, it was Starbucks' first roastery in Asia, and its first outside its home city, Seattle. Says a lot about how much Starbucks values the China market. In fact, Starbucks refers to its first China store in 1999 in Beijing as one of its top 8 corporate turning points. And in 2017, the same year it opened its roastery in Shanghai, Starbucks spent $1.3 billion to buy out its joint venture partners in East China. At that point, it was the largest deal Starbucks had ever made. Buying that slice gave Starbucks full control of all mainland stores, making it one of 2 places where every store is company-run. Doubling down on China, in 2023, Starbucks opened its massive factory and distribution center in Kunshan, its largest such investment outside of the United States. But in November the following year, Starbucks dropped a bombshell. During its 4th quarter earnings call, Starbucks confirmed it was exploring strategic partnerships for China. Essentially, it was looking to sell a small slice of its China business for local know-how. After a brief post-COVID rebound, Starbucks had reported 3 consecutive quarters of negative growth for same-store sales in China. Matthew David, who speaks fluent Mandarin, has been in mainland China for more than 16 years. He witnessed Starbucks slowly losing its pole position.
Starbucks has been the leader for a long time. Actually, Starbucks entered the Chinese market in 1999. And for a long time, it was not that challenged. And that's a bit of a surprise in a market which is as competitive as China.
But that dominance ended with the emergence of Luckin Coffee, Starbucks' fiercest rival. Luckin Coffee runs mostly tiny, app-driven outlets made through franchises. Ironically, it was founded in 2017, the same year Starbucks bought out its joint venture partners in China. Luckin claimed it exceeded Starbucks in store count within 3 years. It also listed in the Nasdaq. Then came the Luckin scandal. In 2020, Luckin executives were found to have falsified sales data in order to attract investors. That crashed the stock and got it kicked off Nasdaq. But Luckin's misfortune barely gave Starbucks any breathing room, because Luckin in China barely skipped a beat.
It's an incredible comeback. After the scandal, the 2 founders left, and it was a new management who took over the company with new money as well. I was very surprised how Luckin could come back to this level.
What's worse for Starbucks, the ousted Luckin founders went on to launch CNA Coffee. In February 2023, a price war erupted. CNA fired the first shot, selling a cup of coffee for just 990 yuan, or about $1.40. Luckin returned fire by matching their prices. Suddenly, Starbucks found itself outgunned with its coffee priced 3 to 4 times higher. But for 2 years, Starbucks held its ground. It was only in June of 2025 that Starbucks announced its first ever price cut after 25 years of doing business in China. Yet the prices of its main coffee offerings were untouched. Cut were the prices of drinks like frappuccinos, ice shaken teas, and tea lattes. It's a bid to position its coffee as a morning staple and its other offerings as an afternoon choice. So what does the future hold for Starbucks in China? I ask Annie Ip, who specializes in sourcing coffee beans. Many of her clients are what most people would consider rivals of the coffee giant. While their rapid growth has been good for business, she's not counting Starbucks out just yet.
我觉得星巴克这个品牌的一个力度是不用大家去质疑的，它算是第一个品牌去引导大众去尝试咖啡的。很多人的第一杯咖啡其实有可能就是在星巴克那边去买的。还有一个就是它的氛围，有些人可能会选择在星巴克里面做他们的 business talk， 有些人可能会选择在星巴克里面去做一些就是功课。你看所有的星巴克在中国的话，都是在一个比较好的位置，或者是商场里面，或者是在旅游景点里面，甚至有些 shopping mall， 他们都会优先的把最好的地方就留给星巴克的，因为觉得它可以吸引到人流。
Indeed, despite intensifying competition, Starbucks turned the corner in the first half of 2025. After 4 straight quarters of year-on-year declines, growth finally stabilized, flat in the first 3 months of 2025, followed by a 2% bump in the next quarter. Some say by trying to find a strategic partner, Starbucks is taking a page from McDonald's and Yum brands. McDonald's offloaded an 80% stake in its China business in 2017. While Yum Brands, which owns KFC, Pizza Hut, and Taco Bell, spun off its China business as a separate entity in 2016. The moves paid off. Both companies are now doing well in the market. The strategic partner approach has also made a difference within China's coffee sector. Manna Coffee was founded in Shanghai as a tiny single boutique shop. Wooing investors like Temasek, which has deep China experience, and Meituan, which has an extensive delivery tech ecosystem, has allowed Manna Coffee to scale up aggressively. Manna now has more than 1,000 outlets. This scale lowers the cost per cup, allowing the company to keep prices low, protect its reputation for quality beans, and still turn a profit. Even amid the heat brewing from its rivals, Manna continues to attract investors. The latest reportedly from ByteDance in 2025.
其实你也看到有很多的投资者也在看中了这一个industry， 他们都有一些数据的 backup 去理解这个行业。好像日本啊、韩国，他们可能年均100到200杯，但我们中国人均只有10几杯、20杯左右，因为我们地太大了，我们人口太多了。我们现在看到可能是一些1线城市、2线城市还有喝咖啡的习惯，其实去到3线、4线的话，我们还有一个很大的空间培养这些人去喝咖啡。
Eyeing investor appetite, Starbucks has put part of its China arm on the block. A Reuters report in 2025 says that Starbucks has garnered bids that valued its China business at $4 to $5 billion US, about 10 times its expected 2025 earnings. This would place Starbucks China just above its rival Luckin Coffee, which trades at around 9 times. But the same report says one offer was double that, close to 20 times, in line with Starbucks' global valuation. The gap in valuation shows just how divided investors are on the true worth of Starbucks China. Still, even at the low end, this will be one of the biggest consumer exits in China. It will give Starbucks fresh firepower, not just here in China, but also back home in the United States, where the battle for coffee dominance is just getting started.
It has been 54 years since Starbucks opened its doors in the US, and today the coffee giant has more than 17,000 stores across all 50 states. But in recent years, challenges have been brewing for the company, leading to declines in both sales and reputation. In September 2024, its new chief executive, Brian Niccol, announced a reset, aiming to enhance the in-store experience and revive the brand's signature cozy coffee shop vibe. The move brought back familiar features such as the condiment bar, ceramic mugs and handwritten messages on cups. Starbucks also removed the extra charge for non-dairy milk and set a goal to get customers their drinks within 4 minutes. As Starbucks builds itself back up, a familiar rival has emerged, this time on home turf. Luckin Coffee, which overtook Starbucks as China's biggest coffee chain in 2023, has now entered the US market. Luckin operates differently from Starbucks in that customers don't order at the counter, they do so on an app and then pick up at the counter. The digital-first model helps keep operational costs low. Luckin Coffee is often cheaper than Starbucks and it regularly offers enticing promotions through its app, sometimes selling drinks for just a few dollars. According to national data, coffee prices surged 14.5% in July year over year, with President Trump's tariffs likely adding pressure. But for brands like Luckin, that may not be a major concern, according to one analyst.
There's no shortage of availability of domestic products, be them paper cups, dairy products or coffee beans. So I imagine all these companies, when they launch in the United States, will source all of their products from domestic sources and create a supply chain to satisfy their growing needs, meaning that none of those products will be subject to import tariff as they are produced domestically.
Bright, bold and affordable, but is it enough to convince Americans to make the switch?
I don't go into Starbucks anymore because when I go in there, I don't feel clean. And that's just my honest truth. Here it still feels clean. There's the app, China was always sort of app forward with their QR codes and stuff like that.
I think it's great. I think that I've no complaints so far. I didn't actually get their normal recommended lattes or whatever because I don't drink caffeine, but this is pretty good.
Luckin now has 4 stores in the US, all in New York, but success in the world's largest economy isn't guaranteed.
While Luckin Coffee is proving popular among customers we've spoken to here in New York, one analyst says it will face challenges coming to the US, and one of those is that the American coffee market is already very saturated, meaning some of Luckin's main competitors are already household names here in the United States.
John Zolidis, a financial analyst with a focus on retail and restaurant industries, has watched Luckin Coffee for years and says that its success in China will not be easy to replicate in the US, where coffee drinkers have long established preferences.
The customer in China doesn't have a preset expectation of what a coffee or coffee-type beverage is supposed to be. They don't have loyalty towards a specific brand. They're willing to try new things, new flavor profiles, etc. The US market is the opposite of that in many ways. Customers are already familiar with coffee. They've been drinking, most of the potential customers have been drinking coffee for decades or years at least. So when Luckin comes into the US, they have to address this very different customer expectation for the beverages that they're trying to deliver.
While Zolidis thinks Luckin can carve out a space for itself in the market, he's also wary about what app-only orders could mean for customers, suggesting Americans may be less likely to embrace the digital-only approach.
The Chinese customer is much more accustomed to this kind of interaction with not just coffee retailers, but with their panorama of different services and products that they like to buy. US customers are a little bit more reticent because there are privacy concerns. They don't want to give away all their data.
For now, Starbucks reigns supreme in the US with a 40% market share at the end of 2024. But Luckin's entrance into an established coffee market is only just beginning. Meanwhile, in Southeast Asia, a different battleground is taking shape as homegrown brands rise to claim their share of a rapidly growing market by blending tradition and innovation to showcase the region's rich heritage.
ASEAN, with almost 700 million population, is among the fastest growing regions in the world. Its coffee industry is a dynamic multi-billion-dollar business, supported not just by its role in the global supply chain, but also a booming domestic consumption. Vietnam and Indonesia account for over half of the global supply of Robusta. Thailand and the Philippines are brewing more specialty coffee, while Laos and Malaysia are bursting into the scene with homegrown brands and cafes, underpinned by higher spending power, vibrant tourism and cafe culture. It's no surprise that international coffee chains are expanding across the region. But local players are unfazed by increased competition.
Hey, hi, Nini.
Hi.
Oh, lovely cafe you have over here. Le Trio.
One cafe owner, Vian Tien, is proudly brewing her own blend of specialty coffee using only beans sourced from Bolaban Plateau in southern Laos.
We believe that the local farmers need our support, and in order for us to have 100% good Lao coffee, we need to work with them.
What is it that Laotian beans different from the others, and what's the potential for the industry?
I would say every bean is unique to its country, right? Because it depends on the soil, so where it's grown and how it's grown. So what makes Laos unique is, for sure, is the volcanic soil, where the majority of the coffee are grown, and most of the people are still harvested by hand. So that's what makes Lao coffee so special.
It's a business that she began with her husband 7 years ago, and it's now taking off. Lao coffee, she said, is hugely popular among the Thais and Koreans.
I believe so much that Lao coffee has the potential to be in the market, in the ASEAN market. But I also believe that ASEAN should work together as a kind of ASEAN blend, like having from different countries together, blend into one that is called ASEAN.
Lao coffee, she said, has so much flavor, and she can't wait to introduce them to coffee lovers in the region through greater intra-ASEAN trade. Indeed, ASEAN leaders have been urging member countries to trade more with one another to buffer against geopolitical and economic uncertainty.
Thank you, Nini. So nice to see you. Yeah, all the best. Yeah, cup chai.
Nini isn't the only one. More than 2,000 kilometers away, a Malaysian cafe owner is having the same idea, brewing its own uniquely ASEAN blend.
I got 50% of Arabica from Malaysia, 40% of Robusta from Indonesia, and 10% of Arabica from Vietnam. So we're using the traditional way to roast it to create a full body flavor.
Many of its customers enjoy the aromatic blend that's strong, sweet and creamy. The ability to capture the authentic local flavor with more affordable pricing have given some an edge over global cafe chains.
Right, you think our local chain of coffee equally good?
I actually prefer our local coffee over like Starbucks, or even like Luckin Coffee is coming to Malaysia, right? If you give me a choice to pick between these like big brands or like local coffee, I'd always pick local coffee.
Still, intense competition and rising costs are two main challenges he now faces. With over 6,000 cafes across the country, Malaysia's domestic coffee market is valued at over $1 billion.
Increasing in living costs currently in Malaysia is quite bad, quite high. Everything is increasing because our currency is going down. Consumer behavior is changing. Free trade for ASEAN country, between ASEAN country. Yeah, I think this would help a lot for Malaysia SME.
He's planning to expand his business into neighboring Indonesia next year as ASEAN pledges to speed up economic integration.
As the region integrates, indeed, social media goes a long way in helping young entrepreneurs in Southeast Asia to tap the growing coffee culture in the region to promote the uniquely ASEAN coffee blends across the region and beyond.
Blazing the trail is Malaysia's largest home-owned cafe chain, ZUS Coffee. Its CEO, Vernon Tien, who started a cafe chain 5 years ago, was eager to share its business expansion plan despite brewing competition.
Hey, hi Vernon.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
How's
you.
business?
Business is good.
The journey hasn't been easy, he said, but it's been rewarding. With over 800 outlets now across Malaysia, ZUS Coffee is targeting 1,000 cafes by the end of the year, including those in the Philippines, Brunei, Singapore, Thailand, and even Pakistan. Now, it's also eyeing markets in the Middle East to leverage on its halal certification.
Thailand, like I mentioned, we've just opened with plans to open 30 stores within the next 6 months. There is also plans to open up in Indonesia as well. And out of ASEAN is really opening up an international franchise program that we could leverage on respective operators' strengths and help us to scale quicker. Yeah, of course, the vision for us is really to be able to bring the brand, everywhere we go, we'll be able to see a ZUS Coffee itself.
How do you face off competition? How do you see Luckin, for example, Luckin Coffee entering Malaysian market on top of Starbucks that have been here longer than you?
For us, has always been really focusing in terms of how we do things right and making sure that the quality is there, it's consistent, constantly engaging with the community. These are things that we're constantly doing to make sure that customers come back to us. We can't stop them from coming to the market. The market is actually growing. Ultimately, it's really how do we retain our customers and also perhaps educate more customers to drink more coffee.
Indeed, coffee consumption per capita is still low in Southeast Asia compared to Western regions. And ZUS Coffee is investing in all kinds of loyalty programs and constantly innovating its menu to outperform its rivals. Through operational and supply chain efficiency, it's been able to pass on the saving, he said, to its customers by keeping prices stable.
We started off where no one believed in the business. It's really, besides perseverance, it's also adaptability towards different kind of market conditions. Like for us itself, going to the Philippines was a whole different experience for us, working with different culture, different ways of working. So we adapt. And then now that we're in Thailand, similarly as well, we learn along the way. And it's a constant learning journey, right? And I think as an entrepreneur, as a startup, very important really to stay humble and learn along the way and believe in yourself and constantly grow.
As a young startup, ZUS Coffee is punching above its weight, blazing the trail and inspiring other local coffee chains to follow in its footsteps to offer ASEAN brews to coffee lovers around the world.